welcome to this special performance by the marvelously talented USSR gymnastics team. Every year, the Russians come to Wembley for a special display by their many champions at gymnastics, at sports acrobatics, and modern rhythmic gymnastics. And among their lineup this year, no less than 8 world champions, 3 Olympic champions, and of course the Russian women took the team gold medal at the World Championships in Budapest. So a great catalogue of stars for you to enjoy. Among their stars, Olga Bicherova, the 1981 world champion, still with that elfin build and the mischievous look. Olga Mostepanova is just 15 years old. She really follows in the tradition of Olga Korbut and is among the favorites for a gold medal on the floor exercise at the Los Angeles Olympics. Without doubt, the biggest star among the men is 16-year-old Dmitry Belozerchev, this year's overall world champion, and world champion also on the high bar, rings, and pommel. Another world champion, the handsome 22-year-old Arturo Kopian. He took the world title on the vault. Alongside these, 26-year-old Alexander Desyatin is a comparative veteran, but he was the 1980 overall champion. And from modern rhythmic gymnastics, Irina Gabashvili and the exciting and beautiful Dalia Kutukait. But let's begin this USSR display, sponsored by the Daily Mirror, with a look at 6 of the Soviets' world and Olympic champions. There's Olga Bicherova, Natalia Ilienko, Tatiana Frolova, Alla Shishova, Elena Davidova, and Olga Mostepanova, who've put together a warm-up routine which shows both their acrobatic skills and their awareness of music and dance. And we'll be seeing more of them a bit later. But let's turn now to the main gymnastics and this amazing array of Russian world champions.
And 15-year-old Olga Mostepanova, silver medalist in the Budapest World Championships. A delightful young gymnast here. This isn't her competition routine, but I'm sure she can thrill the audience with anything she does on the asymmetric bars. Clear circle to handstand, shoulder to handstand, giant circle. Oh, and a step forward there on the landing. A lovely routine from Olga Mostepanova.
Now a change of sport, modern rhythmic gymnastics, and Dalia Kupkaita, the Russian champion, with this piece of apparatus, the ball.
Very clever little slide along the floor. These gymnasts can only demonstrate very simple gymnastic elements such as rolls, arches and splits. The most graceful sport, demanding tremendous stamina on the legs and mobility around the shoulder region.
And of course, for the first time next year in Los Angeles, it becomes an Olympic sport.
Amazing to think she never ever dropped that ball. Natalia Ilienko, one of the team members that took the gold medal at the Budapest World Championships.
Seems strange to be talking about Natalia Ilienko as the veteran of the Russian team, but she's almost that now. She competed and took the gold medal on the floor in the 1981 World Championships.
Yes, and unfortunately, she's never really won as much as possibly one would have hoped, because she's a tremendous gymnast, but in each of the major competitions, she's made unfortunate errors and perhaps not yet achieved her goal of being world champion. I'm sure she's capable of it. Such precision. Could put a glass of water on her head, I'm sure she wouldn't drop a bit.
She really does have the ability to remain graceful on whatever piece of apparatus she's performing on. Beautiful extension there on that free walkover.
Back walkover, flick, flack, slightly off balance, so she did a single somersault instead of a double, which she usually competes. Davidova, Olympic floor champion. This the amazing routine that we saw when we watched her win that gold medal in Moscow. She must have performed this routine scores of times, and yet she still looks as though she loves every minute of it. gymnast rather than a competitor. But they're still demonstrating the old charisma that only we know Davidova shows.
This routine evokes such memories. You can almost remember as if it was yesterday, that battle between her and Nadia Comaneci at the Olympics in Moscow, all decided only after 45 minutes of rows about the final boom mark for Comaneci. The overall Olympic champion, Elena Davidova. And Natalia Ilienko, the 1981 world floor champion, about to perform a floor exercise.
Second of the three tumbles, another double twisting back somersault. Shishova, 16-year-old, a brilliant gymnast, member of the 1983 World Championships team in Budapest, bronze medalist in the European Championships last year. She actually does one of the most difficult beam routines in the world. She shows full twisting back somersault in her competition routine, but of course they're much more relaxed here at this display at Wembley, where they enjoy performing to the audience and not to a set of judges. And that familiar Shaponikova planche. Alla, of course, is coached by Rostorowski, who coached the famous Shaponikova, the inventor of that last move. Glancing behind to see the beam still there. And an Arab Spring double back somersault. Not too good a landing, but marks don't matter today. Modern rhythmic gymnastics, Irina Gavashvili.
Now it's back to artistic gymnastics and Natalia Ilienko on the asymmetric bars. This piece of apparatus specially developed for the women. It's amazing to think they used to compete on the parallel bars, as do the men.
And just look at the bend in that bottom bar as she hip beats. These are the fiberglass rails which really help the girls to get new movements, copied from the men's high bar. And they're a common edge dismount. Very precise, as usual, from Natalia Ilienko. And over to floor, Olga Bicherova, 1981 world champion, the little elf that really stormed the world then.
She still looks a tiny little thing, but she's in fact grown 5 centimeters this year. Takes up to all of 4 feet 9 inches.
She hasn't lost any of her charisma. In fact, she looks more mature in her work altogether. Just as agile there, demonstrating 1.5 twisting, somersault into Irish spring, flick, another full twist. The Russians pay a great deal of attention to the choreography of the floor routines. In between the tumbles, we see some really intricate dance movements. Their arms, their head positions, everything is so thorough. And finishing with a double back somersault, and can still smile after that stumble.
Well, now, the chance to see a traditional bit of Wembley fun, the pommel competition.
And now to sports acrobatics and the mixed pairs. This really is a new aspect of gymnastics. It's really taken on over the last 3 years. We had the World Championships in London last year. And this pair really demonstrates the balance routine perfectly. Flying back into a beautiful handstand by Frolova. There into her famous walkover. She was a renowned artistic gymnast, and with such background managed to convert to sports acrobatics very easily. Synchronization there on that straight back somersault. What precision. Makalichev, a really strong baseman, but having to convert to show the aesthetic dance qualities to match the graceful Frolova.
It's easy to see the attraction of this sport. Gymnasts tend to be able to go on much longer than they can in artistic gymnastics, and you've got also the enjoyment of working as a team.
Now to Dalia Pichaipa. Again, modern rhythmic gymnastics, and there are 4 pieces of hand apparatus used in this sport. This, the hoop, the ribbon, the clubs, and the ball. The gymnast has to master all 4, but of course, inevitably, they do have their preferences.
They're not allowed throws, spins, generally find as many new ways to twirl or spin the hoop as they possibly can.
And the throwing and the catching of the apparatus. And another really beautiful routine from Dalia Kutaita, the 18-year-old modern rhythmic European champion.
Well, something now really...
Tatiana Frolova. About to show us her floor routine, and she was in the 1983 team in Budapest. And a dynamic routine from this young Tatiana Frolova.
The World Championships in Budapest had both happiness and sadness for 18-year-old Natalia Ilienko. Having won the overall world title, she then landed badly in the vault competition and could take no further part in the championships. But despite her knee injury, she's come to London to meet the Wembley crowds, and what everyone wants to know is, will she be fit for the Los Angeles Olympics? Natalia, how serious is your injury and how is your recovery going?
My injury is not very serious, but unfortunately it's serious enough to prevent me from appearing on the display. I don't think it will take very long, and I do hope that in a month's time I shall be again in training.
How will this upset your preparation for the big event next year, which of course is the Olympics?
I don't think it will affect me at all, because a month is not really a very long period, and I'm sure that I'll have plenty of time to train and to concentrate on preparations for the Olympic Games.
You are world champion, but who do you particularly admire in the rest of world gymnastics? They're
all my friends, and I admire them all very much. Bicherova, Mostepanova, Shishova, and Frolova.
So looking ahead to the Olympics, you have a position to defend. In what ways do you feel you have to improve as a gymnast?
Gymnastics is developing very, very rapidly these days, and in order to really be on the best level, I have to concentrate particularly on the beam and the floor.
Well, we hope your recovery from injury doesn't take too long, and it's very nice of you to make the trip to London here and see us all. Thank you.
And just to emphasize the strength of Russian gymnastics, Olga Bicherova, the girl that Natalia Ilienko took over from as world champion. Bicherova didn't make the top three in the Russian team in the 1983 World Championships, but she had been injured after the European Championships, where she was joint champion with Ilienko, and the Russians thought she had quite a long way to go for her form. Monica, she could still get right back to the top at Los Angeles.
Oh, I'm sure she's got the charisma and the determination to try and get back amongst the medal winners there. I think when so many of them are training in the same camp at such a high standard, any one of them can have an off competition just like we can have an off day. That may not have been her day. Whoops.
Nearly a write-off day. Recovered it. She wouldn't have been happy if that happened in competition. That would have been marked down very heavily indeed.
It's interesting to notice that she wouldn't come off, though. She would stay on and wobble rather than land on the floor. And there, that famous high double back somersault. A super routine, even though it had wobbles from Olga Bicherova. And after a Kopian.
Well, the individual event in sports acrobatics is the tumbling, and we see some really spectacular somersaults and twists. And here, Ludmila Gromova, the world champion in the women's tumbling, and Alexander Rasolin, the men's world champion, being helped out by some of the artistic gymnasts. That's Gromova there with the 2 yellow stripes down her leotard. Here we see her on her first tumbling run. Just warming up with a series of whipbacks and twists there. And this is Alexander Rasolin. Just flashing around and that double somersault to finish with. Part of the secret of tumbling is being able to work on and work out of somersaults. Now little Bicherova showing what she can do.
Although the artistic gymnasts don't compete on this piece of apparatus, which is known as a ski run, because originally the first tumble run was made of old skis. It's now made of rubbers and sprung wood. But the artistic gymnasts use it as a training aid on which to learn double backs, triple twisters, so that they don't injure their ankles.
Vladimir Artemov, not content to go up for that. Quite happy to come back down the run as well. Bogdan the Kutz. Such power there. Enjoying the spring.
Here is Korolyov. Double back somersault. They have to perform on this piece of apparatus at the very end because it would affect the timing on their ordinary floor, but Gromova is used to this. Oh, and a double back straight with a full twist in this first somersault.
Amazing speed she worked up. Alexander Rasolin, that curious stiff-armed run of his. Double straight back, straight out of it into a flick-flack again, builds up speed, and then a double tuck back to finish with. That's World Championship.
Really sensational stuff. And she spun that double all right. Frolova, whip, whip. And a tuck back with a kick out. That's an extension out of the somersault, showing 2 shapes. Ilienko.
She even looks graceful on a tumbling run.
Yeah, really long flick-flacks. This is what they're aiming to build up cross speed. Double back straight from Korolyov. Oops, and Artemov tripped over there.
A series of 1.5 twisting walkouts from the Kutz. Bicherova. Double straight back from her. That's really powerful work for a girl, and managed to work out of it as well. Alexander Rasulin. Is he going to go for his triple somersault? Oh! Well, he got all the way around, just touched down on his hands at the finish. But that was a triple somersault off the floor from Rasulin.
And now a final look at our world champion, Dmitry Bicherova. This little lady came to Wembley at the age of 10, 5 years ago, and who would have thought that at 15 she would have returned as world champion on the floor exercise?
This marvellous exercise. There really couldn't be a better finale to our Russian display from Wembley.
The precision of her movements is just incredible. That handspring full twisting dive Klimska, a very unusual combination in the middle. Tumble run from a routine that showed everything: grace, stamina, beauty, and poise.
Yes, another marvellous performance, and it really has been an inspiration seeing so many great champions here at Wembley.
Well, that's the end of a quite awe-inspiring display by the Russian gymnast. It's left the Wembley crowd with some wonderful memories and perhaps a bit of inspiration for their own progress in the sport. Well, next week, more international gymnastics from Wembley when the Russians are joined by China, who took the men's team gold medal at the World Championships. That's in the Coca-Cola International, and the top British gymnasts are competing as well. So join us for that next week. In the meantime, can I wish you an early Happy New Year on behalf of the whole ITV gymnastics team. Goodbye.